Let's have some fun. So in the world of precious stones and continues in the past, I want to say now 15 years since we started bringing Tanzanite in our exotic gems here at HSN, continues to be our #1 top selling gemstone. So what Jay has done here in an entire necklace of genuine Tanzanite at $224.90 at an HSN price was like breaking news. The fact that we have a sale on top of that at $169.90. I can promise you that's the best value we have ever offered. And then on, again, 6 flex payments. That's under $30. And this is another great example. I would imagine has to be close to what, 50 to 70 carats? Somewhere in there?
At least.
If not more?
Yeah, probably in there.
And so this is real Tanzanite, Jay.
It's not only real Tanzanite, it's what Tanzanite really is.
And it should be the color of,
right,
too.
Well, when you think of Tanzanite, what do you think? You think of this color,
yeah,
right?
Sure
and this is the natural color. This comes from directly, we have a source directly at the mine. This won't last forever. I'm amazed that Tanzanite now, I never thought, to be honest with you, I never ever in my wildest dreams thought that I would ever be showing you Tanzanite. I never thought. When I brought it 3 years ago, the first time I'd ever done it, I was blown away that we were able to do it. And it was all because of the sapphire connection, sapphire mining. My father used to say it's better to be lucky than good. So I've always been lucky because I know I've never been good. But I will tell you this.
So you're the naughty and the not the nice.
No, I'm very lucky. I mean, I mean like, I am good.
You've been blessed and you've
But I've been blessed by the fact that I've been very lucky in life. And the only reason that I can offer this to you, it's not that I haven't seen Tanzanite. I will tell you right now, okay, a friend of ours, my wife and I, okay, and I've worked with her, done, things personally for her, just, as a friend. She was just down in the Caribbean, and she bought a Tanzanite, beautiful, don't get me wrong, amazing, amazing cab, but it's probably maybe 2.5, 3 carats as I memory. It's not real thick and everything. I think she paid like $2,200 for it.
I'm sure.
I mean, to get this color and to get this grade, I mean, is almost impossible. You never see it in beads. And if you do,
I never did. If
you see it in beads, yeah, I guarantee you it's through the roof, expensive, right? We're just able to do it because of the connection we have. Like I said, because of my Tanzanian sapphire connection, he knew the miner and we got a direct contact. Otherwise, this guy would probably never ever talk to you in your wildest dreams. But because of how we buy and the capabilities that we have to buy and to buy the quantity we do, we get the best price. But here again, we're able to offer you these deals. Otherwise, if I didn't buy in the kind of quantities, if I wasn't buying mine direct, there's no way in heck that you could even come close to this.
No way.
Okay, and
even at the $300.
I don't even care what the appraised value is. I doubt that you can even come close to that. I think that you would find it. The main thing is where do you see Tanzanite necklace? Where do you see it at all? When have you been out and seen a natural Tanzanite beaded necklace? Natural, that is not some kind of, what they're doing now is they're marketing it as platinum Tanzanite, because as they're going down a lot of these digs and going down into the mines, they're not finding this color, which to me is a true Tanzanite. And what they're doing now is they're enhancing that material. So a lot of it's enhanced. This is the real deal. Now, am I gonna have this forever? Am I ever gonna be able to do this? I doubt it.
Well,
I mean, I've gone through 80% of my rough material now.
Can I just tell you what I heard just not long ago, that they're not producing.
No, you're not really getting a lot
out of Tanzania what they were, 5, 10 years ago.
Oh no, they haven't been for like several years. This was
that's just what
this is. A lot of this material that I have right here was mined over 5 years ago. He just made me a deal to buy the rough material. I don't even know, like this is a material that everybody's going after, but I'm just saying it's not like you just walked to, even if you went to the Tanzanite mine, you know what? I had some friends just recently, they were in Africa, they went on one of these safari things, and they happened to be part of it was in South Africa, they went to the Cape, and they went into Cape Town, and they were in the stores, and they saw what they were just selling Tanzanite rings for. And they flipped out. They came back and they told me, they said, you can't believe what they get for it. I said, no, I know what they get for it. But
and that was there.
That's in Africa, and they, like, even like a necklace like this,
if you could find anything
if you could find anything like this, it would not be this price. I'm not going to give you an exact number, but let's just say way more than the appraised value, okay? Because they come back in shock. It's just like people when they go to Australia and they go into and they see what they actually sell Australian precious opal.
I did. Remember when I went there and I was like, I'm getting an Australian opal. I was like,
and you're going right to the source and you see the price and you go.
I almost flipped my lid.
No, you almost faint.
I was like,
no.
You're
just going, yeah, I can't afford that.
No, but that time we didn't have, at that time, Australian opal until Jay brought it to us, so it was exciting. The other thing is, Jay, to your point, first off, you don't find this, but I always encourage our jewelry shoppers and collectors of J. King, get it home and go and have it looked at. That's always fun.
No, I don't care. Go to a jeweler.
No, but seriously, because they're going to be like,
seriously.
Where did you find this?
Yeah,
like,
seriously. I have my local jeweler where I live, in one of the places I live, and all the time I'm taking in there, I love to get with him and just show him what I got.
See his reaction.
And he's extremely knowledgeable, but he always goes, oh my gosh,
only you.
Yeah, or I hate you, I think is what he says a lot,
Alrighty, well, a customer, all-time favorite for Tanzanite, 601172. First time special sale price today at $169.90. What a wonderful.